What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special East Coast, West Coast edition of Fung Bros on the Street.
We took to the streets of Philadelphia and New York City to ask people the differences between East Coast Asians and West Coast Asians.
Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? I'm here with
Long, Donald.
Juliet, Alicia.
Do you guys know any West Coast Asians?
I have a friend who goes to school in Cali. Talk about the weather. It's like really nice and stuff.
Weather would definitely be one thing. We had snowstorm every week. Like when I was younger, I loved snow, but now it's like I have to shovel, so I hate it. West Coast Asians don't know how to shovel snow.
What are some things that West Coast Asians have that the East Coast Asians don't have?
Their food.
Half and half.
What about the nightclubs?
Alaska.
We would like to have some in and out. Over there have a lot of like fusion shops, foods that are available in Asia, which aren't available here.
It's actually kind of rare to find good Taiwanese food around here.
Seems like the 3-cup chicken is better on the West Coast.
We definitely have better roast pork in the East Coast than you guys do out in the West Coast. So. You got better bubble tea, aka boba.
Do you guys have ABGs out on the East Coast?
Since we have the cold weather, no one really wants to get in short shorts and a tank top or anything. There are no ABGs on the East Coast. Like, it's really rare to find some. And over here, like, we dress according to the weather, so sometimes it's cold. You can't dress like an ABG when it's cold out. You gotta show skin. ABGs are scared of the East Coast weather. I wish they weren't.
More Asians, I guess. More hotter Asians. I don't know.
A lot of bitches. I mean, yeah, beaches. Nah.
I didn't know what you said, man. I was like, whoa. Are the Asians on the West Coast dressing differently than the Asians on the East Coast?
West Coast Asians are probably more swaggy than East Coast Asians. All the brand names, they always wear Supreme and kind of like the dapper kind of stuff, yeah.
Tank tops. It's the first thing that popped in my mind. Tank tops. They wear a lot of tank tops. We don't wear a lot of tank tops until it kind of slowly drifted over here slowly. Before Cali had the tank tops, if you would see somebody with a tank top over here, you'd be like, yo, like, what are you doing, man? Like, is going on with the tank top?
Are you guys wearing Roshis out here?
Yes, but we're kind of late with that, you know? I feel like Philly just started wearing it like 3 years ago, but versus like you guys been wearing it like a while ago. But Roshis, you can just walk into the store and get them anytime.
Put us on some Philly slang. What's some Philly slang that the kids should know? Some East Coast.
John. If you say the word John a lot, that's automatic. You're from Philly.
What's a John?
It's a person, place, a thing. Like yo, take a look at these Johns.
John could be a girl. The John could be that food. It could be anything.
Look at that John running over here. Look at that John on the floor.
Since I've been in Philly, I've heard the word bowl. What does that mean?
When you that ball and you doing something, right? You doing something big, and you be like, yo, that's that ball. Like you right there. I'll consider you a ball.
I'm that bowl. What about bowl?
That boy over here is interviewing me. I don't know.
Nice, I'm a bull. Would you call yourself a fob?
Definitely. What's up? This is Joey, the Philly Fop over here.
Personality-wise, can you point out any differences between West Coast Asians and East Coast Asians?
The vibe, I feel like some people here, they're kind of like party poopers. We need more people here to like pump up the party.
We need more Asians from the West Coast to pump up the party.
LA, Cape Town is like, I think it's like another Korea town there, but New York is like only like several blocks, so it's like combined with American culture.
I think over there's a lot more Asians, you know, so you can kind of more build a bigger Asian community.
You can stay in your Asian bubble.
Exactly, you can stay in your Asian bubble. We're over here. I think we had to kind of adapt, you know, because you're probably going to be the only Asian in your class, for real.
Well, I think the upbringing, at least being from Philadelphia, much more urban environment where you grow up in. West Coast people, it's pretty more residential, more suburban actually. Growing up urban, it's just you're just thrown into the mix. Like there's not like a bubble of people you're in.
And you'd say on the West Coast, it's harder to find those type of communities.
Like a lot of people are in like Asian neighborhoods where it's strictly Asian, and
A lot of people that are around just Asian, Armenian neighborhoods, or just straight Vietnamese. It's just like bubble.
West Coast, there's a lot more third, fourth, fifth generation Asians compared to over here, whereas usually first, second generation. I'm first generation. Well, in the West Coast, I feel like since they've been there longer, have like stronger foothold in society and in cultural norms and whatnot. I would say like when I visit my dad in Frisco, I get weirded out when an old Chinese lady speaks perfect English. Compared to over here, I mean, it's like usually like broken or they don't even understand.
Being an East Coast Asian gives you that melting pot experience where, you know, I feel comfortable being in any environment. Being in New York and Philadelphia, you're always catching a train, you're walking around the city, so you kind of bump into different people like that are in completely different walks of life. In Los Angeles, you have to drive everywhere. Sometimes you're just in your car the whole time. You don't even interact with anyone else, just like random people in the street.
Let's talk about societal positioning.
I really don't think Asians rank too high on the hierarchy here when it comes to financial, socially, not really either. Yeah, I definitely think Asians on the West Coast or who are from there are definitely considered cooler and feel cooler and easier to be that than it here as opposed to the East Coast, 100%.
Something that you think that the West Coast Asian world doesn't have that you guys might have?
I don't know. I have no idea what to say.
I'm going to assume the silence means nothing. That being said, and I'm going to let you state your final case, why would Asians want to move to the East Coast when it seems like the Asian world is bigger and more advanced on the West Coast?
Oh, because it's always nice to like try new things. Like on the East Coast, I'm pretty sure it's very different from the West Coast. So, East Coast? Yeah, see, represent. Yeah, that's why people want to venture out here.
Yeah, yo, honestly, I want to say it's more interesting here, right? Because you do get to meet so many different types of people, right? Like in New York, think about New York City itself, right? We're the capital of the world in terms of finance, like legal, right? And then you have fashion is here. There's marketing, right? Tons of companies here.
Last question, Victor. Where would you recommend that someone move as an Asian person, the East Coast or the West Coast of America?
Oh my goodness. I think if you want to be, live a comfortable life, right? Like be surrounded by things that you're used to, right? I think West Coast is great, like standard of living is high. So on the East Coast, I think at least in New York, you're not here because you want to be comfortable. They push themselves, right? Super ambitious, right? People who want to like make it. It's actually like in the process of achieving like the American dream. Whereas I feel like in California, a lot of people maybe have done that already, and so they're just kind of like, more chilling.
So what's the final word? What's the final verdict in your mind? East Coast Asians versus West Coast Asians?
I'm gonna rock with my team, man. As much as whatever, I'll rock with East Coast, man. That's me.
It's obvious. It's gotta be the East Coast.
Definitely West Coast.
Because all the cool Asians are on this side, like how I am.
Ashley's on this side. Y'all West Coast.
Where dreams are made of, there's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York, New York.
All right, thank you everybody for watching that episode of East Coast Asians versus West Coast Asians. So basically, my major takeaway is that there are so many factors that come into play on how the coasts are different, whether it's climate, okay, the East Coast is way colder, so you gotta wear more clothes. Demographics, there's a lot more Asians in LA and on the West Coast in general, plus the climate is hotter, and industries, like what kind of jobs are out there. These are all factors that really come into play on, which side you want to live on and what kind of life you're going to live.
But beyond just the general lifestyle differences between East and West Coast, it seems that if you want to live a more comfortable lifestyle amongst a bunch of other Asians, move to the West Coast. But if you're comfortable with a little bit more hustle, grind, and obstacles, then move to the East Coast. But really, these are things that just other people said. We don't know.
All right, we were in Philly and New York, but until next time, we out. Peace.